Hello and welcome. Mustafa Hosseini here. Today I'm doing a book review on the book called Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. Now, I read this book right after I read the 80-20 principle, which I did a video on it on my previous video. I'm going to put a link on that if you haven't watched that. That's also a life-changing book as well. So I read that book, and then this book, Essentialism, came up as a suggestion on Amazon, and it had so many good reviews, so I picked it up and I started reading it, and it actually worked out really well. The book talks about how you should focus only on the essentials, determine what is non-essential, what is not important, and only focus on the important stuff and the essential stuff. These two books really helped me out. Usually when I get a new idea and I learn something new, I try to read an extra book or read a couple more articles or watch a couple more videos from other people so I get different perspectives on it, because people write and explain things differently in different languages, so I want to understand the whole thing, and in this case it really worked out well. So I'm just going to show you quickly what this book looks like. This is the cover of the book, Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less, with Greg McKeown. And I also read the 80-20 principle before that, The Secret to Achieving More with Less. Very, very powerful books. I strongly recommend it. And I'm just going to go through and then read some of the passages and some of the notes that I took from the book. So I'll just burn through them, and I'll explain as I go forward. So falling into the undisciplined pursuit of more was the key reason for failure. So undisciplined pursuit of more created failure. So a question you should ask yourself is, what do I want to become or be the king or queen of? You got to become or be the king or queen of one thing, not too many things. Okay? Once you try to spread your resources on multiple things, you create all these weak different services or products that you try to deliver, or multiple different things that you're trying to be. Versus when you put your focus and your energy and resources on one thing and you try to become the king or queen of that one thing, you could put all your resources and become a lot stronger, create more results, and do the whole thing a lot easier and grow your business a lot faster. Okay? So, and then later on he speaks about getting rid of non-essentials. For example, opening your closet and getting rid of all the clothing that you haven't worn for maybe 6 months or a year, or clothing that you don't like or love. If you don't feel like you look great in it, get rid of it. If you don't wear it often, get rid of it. You could do the same thing with your bookshelf, with your office, with your house, anything with your garage. If you have anything that is in there that you don't need and it's just taking extra space, because when it gets busy around you, it takes mental resources. Okay, when it's not organized, it's not good. Then he talks about frustration and what creates frustration. So the highest point of frustration is created out of these three elements. One, trying to do everything and be everything, and trying to do or follow the most popular thing, which is everybody doing, and trying to get it right now. So everything, popular, and now creates the highest point of frustration. So, and then he talks about how you should go the exact opposite route, or the opposite route. Don't try to do everything. Figure out what's important and try to do that only. And just because it's popular, it pretty much means you should run away. If you ever listen to Warren Buffett, he made most of his money, and actually most investors and big people that became really successful, they just went against the status quo. If everybody was selling, they were buying. If they're buying, these guys are selling. So if it's popular, you got to run. If Bitcoin is popular right now, you probably shouldn't buy into it right now. It's probably too late. And then this process of, I want this now. Business people understand, and most people understand, that getting results and trying to achieve something as a farming process. Okay, there's always a process, and there's never now. So when you want everything, and you want to try to do a popular thing, and you want it right now, it creates frustration because it doesn't really produce and provide results. Okay, and then he talks about what some of the, there's like, this book is filled with examples of what the essentialists do. So here's a quote from the book. Essentialists spend as much time as possible exploring, listening, debating, questioning, and thinking. But their exploration is not an end in itself. The purpose of the exploration is to discern the vital few from the tribal many. So they spend all that time and research and debating and asking around and getting feedback to think about and realize and understand what is important, what is not important, and then only focus on what is important. Okay? Now, how do you figure out what is important today? And so there's this question you're going to answer. It's going to sound cliche, but let me read it to you and I'll explain it to you. So here's the question to figure out what's important. If you could do only one thing with your life right now, what would you do? If you could only do one thing for your business today, what would you do? And you probably heard that a lot about prioritizing and here's the rule of success. But if you actually think about it, stop and think about it, maybe 5 minutes every morning, and think about what is the most important thing that I should do today. Things that actually provide results, that provide all the stuff that I'm looking for. Your business will change like that. Results guaranteed. So he then mentions that working hard is important, but more effort does not necessarily yield more results. Less but better does. Less but better tasks do. Less but essential tasks create results. Less but important tasks does create results, right? So your job would be to find out what is that 20% that creates 80% of your results, and then focus on that. You don't necessarily need to work a lot more. You just have to spend a few minutes, think, determine, and identify what is the 20% that creates the 80% of results, and focus on that. An essentialist discerns more so he can do less. So he gets all picky and choosy, thinks about it, and picks the right stuff so he could open up some time and do less but create more. Here's a quote from Albert Einstein. He said, "When I examine myself and my method of thought, I come to the conclusion that the gift of fantasy has meant more to me than my talent for absorbing positive knowledge." One more time. The gift of fantasy has meant more to me than my talent for absorbing positive knowledge. So he sat down, Einstein sat down, and he tried to figure out what is producing results. And then he realized the gift of fantasy, visualization, and vision, and probably triggering the visualization and the power of mind to visualize and create visions has helped him more than learning new stuff and all the positive knowledge. I'll explain about that process in a later video. And then later in the book, he talks about the importance of sleep, which really jumped at me and was very important. He talks about how you must have 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. When you don't get enough sleep, your brain doesn't function well, your body doesn't function well, and you can expect great results from your brain and from your body if you're tired. And if you're, if the body is not functioning, it doesn't have all the tools and the energy and the power, then you can't really function. So Bill Clinton says that every major mistake he had made in his life had happened as a result of sleep deprivation. Every major mistake, Bill Clinton says, that came as a result of sleep deprivation. So as I read this, I personally made it a challenge to myself to get a minimum of 8 hours of sleep for the past month. So I finished this book second week of January, and ever since, I feel great. The Then another thing that really jumped at me was really nice. He said the difference between losing and being beaten. Being beaten means they are better than you. They are faster, stronger, and more talented. He says to this guy, losing means something else. Losing and being beaten are two different things. Losing means something else. It means you lost focus. It means you didn't concentrate on what was essential. It is all based on a simple but powerful idea. To operate at your highest level of contribution requires that you deliberately tune in to what is important in the here and now. So tune in on what's important right here and right now. So very important. So he says when you lose, that's when you are not focusing on the right things. When you're beaten by another team or your competition or rival, that means they're better than you. But when you're losing, that means you're wasting your time. You're not focusing on the essentials. So he then, at the end of the book, has this quote that got me thinking for a good past 2 or 3 weeks, I would say. And I think about this. And here it is, very important. The most important thing right now is to figure out what is the most important thing right now. So the most important thing right now is to figure out what is the most important thing right now. Think about that. Grab the book, read it. If you haven't read the 80-20 principle or this book, they're an absolute must read for every business owner, manager. Everybody should read this. If you're in charge of your family, if you have any type of leadership role, or if you want to be in a leadership role, if you want to grow your business at an exponential speed while you can manage and maintain it, these two books in combination are going to help you quite a bit. On my next video, I'm going to talk about this book called Getting Real from Basecamp, which has helped me with my operations quite a bit. Basecamp is what is it? It's a project management software that in the book they mentioned about they have about 350,000 users. And I just read somewhere else that they have actually about 500,000 users. So that's not a bad number for a software. I learned quite a bit from that book because that book focuses on the essentials and the basics as well. And I'm going to talk about how that helped me and how it had pretty much changed my perspective on running my business. And everybody around me, all my coaching clients, the people that I talk to in my classes, and the rest of it. So if you like the video, please hit like. If you have any comments, any feedbacks, any concerns or questions, write it in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. If you find it valuable, please share the video with your network and let them enjoy it as well. I'm going to leave a couple of links in the description of the video so you could get the book from Amazon and read it either on Kindle or in paperback, and give yourself some really, really powerful tools to take your business to the next level in 2018 and enjoy the process. Fee yourself some time and then focus on what matters and what's important. Anyway, my name is Mustafa Hosseini, your business and marketing coach. Hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you later. Thank you.